Hey guys, Matt Money here, and welcome back to another installment of Plastic Instruments Monthly. With the year's end rapidly approaching, the PIM Crew and I are shifting gears to focus on bringing you all 2025's Rewind. But not before covering these last 2 months, of course. That being said, let's stop wasting time and let's just jump right into it. For October's customs, things are very light, as only 4 songs dropped in total. Fairly typical in my experience. Most of the time as the year moves towards the end, releases dry up, things calm down. It's a far cry from the avalanche that was the summer months, but either way, we'll start off with Entropy and their song Skip, which is their first as far as I can tell, and the title's a pretty good indicator of what you'll find here. It's a short 37-second affair, basically just a series of tapping patterns separated by opens, useful for practicing skip tapping. It's simple and lean, not much to say here. Hope to see some fuller songs from you in the future, man. It's always cool to see new faces around, picking up FL Studio, or who knows, maybe you use one of those other DAWs. Ugh. But anyways, next up is Black Pawn with Voyager. It's really nice to see Black Pawn with a fresh release, and this song sits in stark contrast to Skip, coming in at a commanding 7 minutes in length. Throughout the runtime, we move through different tapping sections, strumming, chording, a nice mixed bag typical of Black Pawn's work. Good work, dude. Even if it and all the songs on offer for this month are a little bit beyond my pay grade. Let's check out Wasted CH, back as always, who dropped Missed You. It's much shorter, only 3 minutes long, but focuses hard into tapping for its chart. The best word I can think to describe it is dense, as from the first measure to the very last, the tapping never really lets up. Overall, it's a great chart for tappy practice. Good work, Wasted. And for our last October song, let's touch on another regular for these videos, Random Household Object. Involuntary Acrobatics is, first and foremost, inspired by Utopia by Schmutz, says right so in the description. As for the song beyond that, it's a fairly fun and whimsical listen, pretty typical of RHO's work, and the chart is, yes, pretty brutal and punishing. You'll have to watch out for the several stamina and speed check sections throughout the song. Some of the teleporting gets pretty nasty, some pretty difficult fretting too. It's overall a very tough package that the most skilled among you out there are sure to be diving into. I'm sure one of you can handle it. For November, things were a lot more active, with a handful of releases from a handful of artists. Let's start with The Unnamed Player and HMP Irongate VGH. Honestly, an insane pull. I remember playing The Escapist back on Xbox way back when I was in high school. Seeing a VGH of one of its tracks is definitely not something I ever expected to really see. Regardless, it is a fun track that stays well within the bounds of possibility. Definitely going to be playing this one. Good work, Unnamed. Let's move on to our next artist now, NATO. They've been away for a few months, but they're now back with Ravaged by Desperation. According to them, the expert chart should be a fun challenge for the people with genetics, while the hard chart should be a fun challenge for the plates. And judging by the preview, I'm inclined to agree. While still remaining within the bounds of normalcy and possibility, it definitely pushes the difficulty a little harder, all while being an absolute jam to boot. Overall, it's great to see you, NATO. This song sounds great. Keeping the momentum going here, we have Stability and Alpha Zero with Rise, a sequel to their previous work, Awakened. This is, once again, another song that is totally going to end up sticking with me. It's an absolute banger. We've got hard dubstep drops and great melodic piano interludes. It's an overall fantastic combination. And though plenty of the song looks fairly easy, watch out for the tap chords. They'll surprise you if you aren't paying attention. Great work, you two. Keep it coming. Nearing the end of our single drops for November now, we have Thinger Thing finally back with a cover of Archwick's Space Race. Thinger swaps the pure electronic instrumentation of the original with a blend more befitting of her music, oscillating between natural drum lines with soft synths and explosive energy with harsh basses and loud electronic drums. The chart's unchanged as far as I can tell, so if you're looking for a twist on a well-worn classic, then this might be just for you. Random Household Object marks our last single release for November and keeps the increasingly absurd song names rolling with 3M-. No, literally, the song name is 3M dashes back to back to back. The song itself is, definitely more on the strange side. Even still, I like it. An interesting blend of piano and breakcore madness that sits somewhere between beauty and absurdity. The chart itself is pretty interesting too. A guitar chart that is fairly tame, but a drum chart that launches fully off the deep end and takes the tempo map with it. For all the weirdness, it's one I definitely recommend downloading. Good work, RHO. Before we end off, let's touch on the only artist to drop multiple times in November, Wasted CH. We've got 3 songs here with Wasted's Minute of Madness, Mojave, and Autumn. The Minute of Madness is about what you'd expect for a song with that name. It's a 1 minute straight of various tapping patterns sitting in that very challenging but not quite impossible bracket that many of Wasted's tracks occupy. Autumn, in contrast, is much longer. Coming in at 4 minutes and 30 seconds roughly, it leans into more of a rock direction for the audio, but chart-wise keeps that same consistent tapping challenge that Minute of Madness sports, just a lot longer. Finally, Mojave leans into more of a pseudo-Arabic direction and is definitely my favorite sounding of the 3. It is yet another consistent tapping song, but with just shy of a 2-minute runtime and slightly lower difficulty, it sits in a rather comfortable spot in my opinion. And for the songs, that just about wraps it up. Couple of things to go over before we end off here as always. Firstly, the deadline for CTP 17, the Leviathan, is rapidly approaching. Saturday, December 20th is the last day we will be accepting charts, and we'll be spending the remainder of December playtesting and organizing and getting the pack ready for release. So if you want to get your songs in, gotta do it then. Other than that, you all know the deal. Links to all the song downloads should be down in the description below. And I'll see you all at Rewind. This is Matt Money, signing off.
What up everyone? My name is MattJJ_, and I'll be taking you through all of our accomplishments for October. As always, we've got a ton to go through, so let's jump straight in. But first we have one that we missed from right at the end of September. Amber Sky FC'd the hard chart of Open Window VGH, an insane technical feat even on the lower difficulty. Staying on Amber for her October accomplishments, she also FC'd Zoidberg's Revenge earlier in the month, before going on to FC the cut version of Blue Zenith not long afterwards. As usual, some insane stuff from one of the best in the game. Next cab off the rank is William CH, who had another killer month. He started off with an FC of Boxy Monk's warm-up, before diving straight in and dropping a tech FC of Circus Gallop, a chording nightmare which requires some super clean play. He then went on to get a 3-part tech of Harsh Poetry, before getting the second ever full combo only a couple of days later. Really impressive shit, dude, congratulations. Another person that got a Harsh Poetry Tech FC this month was Bender GH, who seems to be on his plate arc at the moment. He also teched WTF Song, which he did one-handed. I didn't even think the trill at the end of the solo was possible one-handed, but go off I guess. Sticking with his strummer roots though, he still FC'd Hungry Hungry Hippos at 120, which peaks at 26.6 notes per second. I'm still saying Bender is one of, if not the best up-and-coming players there are. Now we have Jarido, who had a few cool accomplishments from October. He started off with an FC of VIP City Abridged at 110, which is no easier than the full song due to the lack of breaks you get. He then went on to get a Freebird 300 tech, before teching the Legacy edition of Cosmic Embassy, which might not be as difficult as the normal version, but is still an outstanding accomplishment. Jarido wasn't the only person to get a tech FC of Cosmic Embassy Legacy though, as Dreamer also claimed one later in the month. And for the normal version of Cosmic Embassy, who else but Carney Jared nabbed a 10-part tech of this nightmare of a chart. He's also been grinding for the FC, slowly bringing down the miscount every day. Jared also FC'd full solo from Solus 4 at 140% speed, which is an insane feat in its own right. On the topic of insane feats, we have to mention Just Joshin and his ridiculous run this month. He dropped the second ever Tech FC of Schmootopia, barely a month after Fog claimed first ever. Not to be outdone by himself, he then went on to claim 2 speed-up records. The first of these was Traumatic Carnival by Matthias at 115% speed, before going on to FC Soulless 6 at 105. Both of these are the first time either of these have been sped up, and naturally he's going for Soulless 6 110 now. Blonded had a pretty insane month as well with a few impressive accomplishments. He started off with an FC of Moog, and then got Offered Eruption only a few days later, both really solid FCs. He then got a Tech FC of Megalowenia not long after. Dan seemed to take some inspiration from Blonded, as not long after Blonded dropped his, he also got FCs of Offered Eruption and Moog, both done on the same day as well. There's been a bit of fun competition from people doing things like this lately, chasing FCs from each other. It's always great to see. Now we move on to Lizard GH, who kicked off with a Tech FC of Back from Spuis at 135, before teching Skyfracture VGH not long afterwards. He then re-teched Infinite Ammo VGH Overchart, this time done with no raking or sliding, and then went on to tech Deceiving Paradise at 140, done with full solos no less. Elusive had a couple cool FCs this month as well. Continuing his run of console speed-ups, he dropped an FC of Trapped Under Ice by Metallica at 185. He then went on to tech FC Me and You, a very fun overchart that is well worth watching. Next we have Crazy, who had a pretty insane month. He started off with a Shit's Flames re-FC, before going on to FC Painkiller by Judas Kiss on all strums, and then back-to-back 5 fret and 6 fret FCs of Biology on all strums. Some really great stuff from one of the best strummers out there. Alright, let's jump into our rapid fire segment for the month. Starting off with Maui, who FC'd Wolf Like Me at 210% speed, a speed record for standard strumming. Emerald, who got their new best FC in Alex's Solus 6 underchart, still a very cool accomplishment despite it being an underchart. Entropy got a tech FC of left-right on note shuffle, an absolute mess of tap chords. Bingus FC'd Burn at 150, another one to the insane list of burn speed-ups for this year. Borealis got... Wait, hang on, am I reading that right? Yes, I am indeed. Borealis randomly came back with a cracked guitar and FC'd Laces Out Dan by the Fall of Troy at 180, which is an insane return to form. Ornej came back and FC'd Need to Know. Actually, he FC'd it 3 times, but the first 2 had mic issues, so he couldn't upload those. Asai FC'd Supernovae Eruptus, done very cleanly as well, which is unsurprising. Edu FC'd What More Effort Sounds Like, yet another one towards full series, and is a ridiculous FC in its own right. Zappy finally got off his ass and FC'd Supernovae Uber Solo E, one that he's been very close to for ages now. Emerald FC'd Miss Murder from Guitar Hero 3 at 200% speed, a ridiculous speed up that is well worth checking out. And Dreamer got a 3-part tech FC of Cataclysm by Matthias. Now normally this is where I jump straight to montages, but first we have our annual Halloween mention. As usual, we had a few Halloween related FCs clustered around the end of the month, and we start with Batata, who FC'd the Halloween Patterns Trilogy at 110. We also have Captain Mario, who FC'd each of the 3 Halloween Patterns charts individually, and we can't forget Edu, who got the first ever Halloween Puzzles FC. Now we move on our montages and mini-tages for October. Starting off with Bender GH as usual, who dropped a filler mini-tage of leftover unused clips he wanted to do something with, which is still better than anything I could have ever put up. Next we have Lizard GH with 1 montage and 2 mini-tages for us, with all 3 of these showcasing his insane speed and tapping improvement, particularly his ridiculous quint speed. Now we have a montage from Luna called Estrotage, the clip dumpening, with some console clips and some speed ups amongst some other crazy shit. Emerald also gave us their return mini-tage, which is very short but has a bunch of fun clips packed in. Conjay is also back, showcasing his new Kramer with a Supernovae solo run, as well as a few other cool clips. And lastly, we have Ornej with 5 FCs rolled into one video, so I'm counting it as a montage. I still would have uploaded these all on their own, because they're all ridiculous in their own right. With our montages and mini-tages done, we can move on to our full albums and long charts for the month. As always, thank you to Gio for handling the research for this segment. Starting off, we have Kaduzera, who I haven't seen around since the Score Spy days. They FC'd Nevermind by Nirvana, a classic album that everyone knows, but is surprisingly only a 2nd ever. This 48-minute long album is mainly a focus check and has almost 10,000 notes. Next we have Atomic GH with another classic album just about everyone will know, with System of a Down's Toxicity. This album has 11,500 notes across its 44-minute runtime, and is a chording consistency check made harder by the notorious Chop Suey in the way its chords are charted. Speaking of Polyphia, Choppermate got an FC of Polyphia's The Most Hated EP. This 23-minute EP packs a metric fuck ton of tricky riffing and fretting into its 7,000 notes, and is well worth the listen as well as the watch. Chopper had a couple others this month, starting with 2 FCs of Distant Glow by Artificial Language, one of which was done online with Lefty God, who got a -22. This EP, like many of the others this month, is also full of genty riffs and strum control across its 21-minute runtime. He then went on to FC Hit It by Villanova, yet another album with a lot of strum control and tricky riffing, but this 46-minute long album also has a fair amount of tricky chording to throw at you. Next we have Road Sounder 99, who FC'd 2 albums he charted himself. Both of these are first evers of Cannibal Corpse albums, both of which have around 16,000 notes and hover around the 35-minute mark in terms of length. Tomb of the Mutilated and Butchered at Birth respectively, both require a good amount of strumming consistency, are littered with random BPM jumps, and have many solos thrown in for good measure. And I love Cannibal Corpse album names, they're all ridiculous. Lastly, we have our main man Gio with a few as well. He started off with a sight read FC of The Way It Ends by Currents, which is no relation to the GH3 song. This first documented is a very typical metalcore album and chart, with almost 12,000 notes across its 40-minute runtime, and mainly contains some technical riffing to keep you awake. The next was another sight read with Thick as a Brick by Jethro Tull. This one is less note dense than the last one and is another focus check, but it has a bunch of fiddly flute bits to keep you awake this time. Next we have Volition by Protest the Hero, a second ever almost 4 years after the first. This 54-minute long album is jam-packed with hellish riffing and chording that rarely gives you a break. Naturally, for a Protest the Hero album, it is very note dense too, clocking in at almost 22,000 notes. And lastly, we have Ascendancy by Cadinya, another first ever for Geo, and done before the setlist the album was from is even out. This album packs 16,000 notes into 48 minutes, and has a ton of easy to miss solos on top of some tough riffing to keep you in check the whole time. And that brings me to the end of my segments for October. As always, if you think we've missed something, please let us know in the PIM channel of our Discord down below, or shoot me a DM and we'll make sure to add it all in next time. I've been your host, MattJJ_. Enjoy the rest of the video.
Hey everyone, Party Boy here to bring you the spooky accomplishments for October's console accomplishments. Starting off with the Madman Sleeper Wave with a single but historical accomplishment. They got an FC of Retribution on Power Gig. This song was marked as one of the most infamous songs that were un-FC'd, marking it un-FC'd for 15 years, as it was said to be almost impossible. To give you an idea, Power Gig is sort of like GH1 with how the engine acts. Thankfully, there's an overstrum protection, but with a song like Retribution, there's a lot of precision that's involved. Alongside getting that monumental FC, it is marked as the Community Guitar Full Game FC, as well as Sleeper Wave getting the first ever solo full game FC. What an insane accomplishment for the books. Next up with our team accomplishments, Team Zephyr getting a trifecta this month. Starting off with a full band FC of I'm the One, known time and time again for the infamous Solo 2A. However, with that, there is a drum chart that's cracked out in its own regard. Next, they got a full band FC of Caught in a Mosh. This song packs difficult charts across all instruments, overall having constant tempo changes and high BPM in general. Also including a tricky solo on guitar, and drums and bass having some super technical parts all throughout the song, and Vox being pretty notable as well. Last team accomplishment is a co-op FC from Mateus and Dark Eye, getting Through the Fire and Flames. This marks the first ever local co-op FC of Flames on GH3. This song should need no explanation, but for it to be done twice in the same room, that's pretty crazy. Great work as usual. Moving over to Blue Bro, who got a nasty drums FC this month. That being Rebirth, a song that has an insanely high BPM and an insane amount of blast beats and fills throughout the song, and it is marked 7th on the top 100, which makes the difficulty self-explanatory. Nice stuff. Flipping the script, Mateus is back, but with only a single solo accomplishment this month. The Fall of Philanthropy, an insanely fucked Chaotrope chart, ranked at number 22nd on the top 100, throwing constant tricky tapping, requiring insane methoding, and with a solo that's super brutal, and even after the solo it doesn't let up, making the whole song super chokeable. Insane work as usual. Taking a look at TNZ, who got a pair of FCs this month, first with One on Guitar Hero 3, one of the most well-known songs in general, and also an infamously hard chart as well, with the fast solo sections. They also got an FC of Through the Fire and Flames on Smash Hits. This version of the chart can be argued that it's harder than Guitar Hero 3, as the tap note engine in Smash Hits is pretty quirky, along with having some broken tap notes in the chart itself. Great stuff as usual. Now on to GH Guy, who also got a pair of FCs this month. They got Heroes of Our Time. This chart is regarded as one of, if not the hardest song in the Dragon Force DLC track pack, basically giving you no breaks, having plenty of the classic Dragon Force strumming, and plenty of fast tapping, especially in the solo, as well as getting an FC of My Star on keys. This one is a pretty underrated FC. It's marked 19th on the top 100, and this song requires a lot of methoding to pair with a tricky solo as well. Nice work. Next, with 456 Productions, with just a single but underrated FC this month, they got a Pro Guitar FC of Antibodies. Any Pro Guitar FC is pretty impressive in its own regard due to how unique it is, but this chart is a really fun one. Though it follows the same rhythm throughout the majority of the song, it's still very tricky considering how the Pro Guitar is, and even for those that are skilled at real guitar, it's still pretty tricky. Arguably one of the coolest FCs this month. Nice stuff. Now checking out Marbler doing some crazy stuff as usual, this month with a pair of DS Guitar Hero FCs. First with Scream, Aim, Fire. But to give some context first, Marbler figured out a calibration trick to make the strumming in the DS games a lot more feasible, in which this song is riddled with plenty of it. Thankfully, this song was made a lot easier with that calibration fix, but it's still a phenomenal FC. Along with that, they got Rock the Night, another ridiculous chart due to its crazy solo. The solo is tricky enough to do on a guitar, but on the DS grip, it's a whole different realm of fucked up. Also to note, without the calibration fix for the strumming, the chart is next to impossible. Insane stuff as usual. Next up with our very own member Kira, getting another pair of FCs this month. Getting FC of Twister, ranked number 98 on the updated top 100 list. This is a chart that's overall pretty technical, throwing awkward fretting and very fast drums all throughout the song, and also getting an FC of Battle Royale, ranked at number 87 on the top 100, and most notable for its fast solo. This song also packs some tricky, unforced strumming and ramps up with fast sweeps and quad zigs throughout the solo, but doesn't end there, as the outro has some strumming that slows down and then ramps back up, making it very easy to choke. Nice work as usual. Continuing with the trend, JDS Smitty also got a pair of FCs this month. First with an FC of Hangar 18, a classic Megadeth track from GH2 packed with difficult solos, with solo 9 being the total run killer. In each solo, there's also some pretty fast strumming, and could be easy to miss or overstrum due to the tight engine. They also got an FC of Jordan, marked as pretty much the hardest song in Guitar Hero 2, coming from the iconic solo B, needing precise tapping and methoding due to GH2's engine, and even after solo B, it's still crazy from there. So a phenomenal FC as usual, regardless of how many FCs this gets. Great work. Flipping over to our favorite Australian this month, Mr. Electric Nick got an FC of Revolution Death Squad. A crazy track from Dragon Force, and in classic fashion of Dragon Force, it's pretty precise and technical. It packs a solo that requires some technical two-hand tapping for certain parts, and also to pair with a super chokeable outro. Nice work. For our last accomplishments this month, we have our legend Chris Body, who's got some of the craziest and the most total accomplishments for this month. Starting with an FC of War Ensemble on Expert Plus drums, a very nasty accomplishment due to its crazy high BPM and crazy fast double bass, alongside fills and verses that drain your stamina like crazy. Next is an FC of Fury of the Storm on Expert Plus, another jam-packed and stamina-draining chart that really doesn't give you any room to breathe, making it very brutal throughout this whole song. This also marks as the first ever Expert Plus full series FC. Along with that, they got Smoker on the Roof, a chart from GH Tunes. Despite the silly name, don't let that fool you, as there is some insanely fast double bass and fills that can really trip you up. They also got an FC of Barren Mountain, yet another GH Tunes chart, however this being the first ever on 5-lane. Another song that's filled with crazy fast snare rolls and some nasty fills as well, and an outro that's very chokeable. For their last accomplishment this month is a FC of Twilight of the Thunder God on Expert Plus. This song is a killer leg workout to say the least, as there's brutally fast double bass throughout the entire song. This FC also marks the first ever Expert Plus full library FC. I guess we can say that Body really bodied Guitar Hero drums. Phenomenal stuff as usual. That wraps up everything for October's console accomplishments. This is Party Boy, off to crash another party.
Before we continue on, we have something special for October. Matt JJ himself was at PAX 2025 and had the chance to speak with both Mr. Electric Nick and Freg, who are running the Bluemouth Interactive stand, and had a chance to show off the cracked guitars. We hope you enjoy the segment he put together.
What up, everyone? It's me, Matt JJ _ actually outside touching grass for once. We're actually here at PAX 2025. It's just finished up for the weekend, and I'm here with Mr. Electric Nick and Freg RB, who have been running the Bluemouth / Cracked booth for the weekend. Tell us about it. How'd it go?
It's been a pretty magical weekend, if I do say so myself. We got treated to like a very large, well, much larger than we expected stage at the Bluemouth booth to show off the cracked Gibson guitars. We've had people jumping up and playing Guitar Hero 3 Pro Face-Off in battle mode and co-op all weekend. We did a few demos, did some showing off on Through the Fire and Flames.
Got a million points.
Got a million points.
Almost 1.1.
Yeah, I think
Really?
Did we get
Just under 1.1
Just under.
in the end. It was like 1:095 or something.
Yeah,
But just that feeling of playing through the fire and flames in front of a crowd was just like,
Because the crowds were pretty insane.
it's just electrifying. Like just having that energy, and people were singing along, and you could see once we put those guitars down, like people were ready to jump on and play, and like.
And then we had free play just about all weekend, all 3 days, and there was constantly a queue as well.
It's just like there's clearly a demand for this genre and these kinds of games, and the resurgence is well and truly underway, and obviously big things ahead in the future with this Red Octane game coming out in the future sometime, but we're already looking at coming back bigger and better next year.
It's going to be amazing.
And it's just been so good, like being able to share this with people, get them informed, tell them what's coming, what they can do now, and just seeing that excitement, the flame in their eyes. We're playing the classics
The
and getting to remember
for what's there and what could be.
Exactly.
And why we all fell in love with these games in the first place.
Favourite moments from the weekend?
For me, I don't want to steal your one, but but I would probably just say Friday when the doors opened and we were up there just playing together. I mean, this is my first PAX. I didn't know what to expect. Just the volume of people that came through those doors and immediately just flogged the stand and got to see us play, and then just seeing that with your own eyes in person was
just insane.
Just insane. Like I couldn't imagine any better scenario. Like this has just been a dream come true, and I really hope we can do more and just continue to share the joy of these games with people.
Fuck yeah. How about you?
I
know what you're going to say, but
well, we also had a bit of an adventure upstairs to the Rock Band lounge that is a regular occurrence every year at PAX, and the three of us, as well as some friends of ours, formed a band.
including Miracle behind the camera.
Absolutely, and we cleaned house. Unfortunately, in the finals, the other team did not show up, so we won by default. But we still put on a great show.
We still gave it our all.
And we were going to win anyway.
Definitely.
That was a ton of fun.
But yeah, it was really nice.
Medals for it.
It's been really cool to perform. We're both real musicians as well, and we understand the thrill of performing to a live crowd. But I still feel the same thrill performing with plastic instruments.
I did too.
It's a really magical thing.
It was a ton of fun. All right. I suppose we go back to the rest of the video now. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to flub this outro as per usual. Enjoy the rest of the video. Nice. See, now that was supposed to be the end of me for this video, but because I dragged my feet getting the October script done, MTN didn't have time to edit it, and so now you get more of me, because that's how double episodes work. We kick off November with Crazy, who unsurprisingly had a crazy month. Starting off with an FC of Save Your Tears by the Weekend, one he got during his Halloween stream. Then they went on to FC I'm the One a little bit later in the month, as well as Quiet by This Will Destroy You. Not to stop there though, he also got a metric fuck ton of 6th fret Allstrums FCs right at the end of the month, including Cult of Personality, War Eternal, and Hangar 18, just to name a few. One of the few people left keeping the 6th fret scene alive and doing an incredible job of it. Next cab off the rank is the beast from Brazil himself, Edu, who claimed his place as the next person to FC Blooming 2.5 from Cosmic Embassy, dropping a Tech FC of this legendary chart late in the month, making him only the 3rd ever to tech it. He also FC'd the song at 60% speed, which is no mean feat given how precise you still need to be to hit some of these sections. And continuing on to his effort full series grind, he took out what inhumane effort sounds like right at the start of the month, an all-round insane showing from one of the best tech players in the scene. We now move on to Leo, who had a few killer accomplishments for November. He started off with a 4-part tech FC of Bloody Daisies, and then got an 85% speed FC of Thinking of You in the same day. Not to be outdone by himself though, he got the first ever Tech FC of Stupid Impossible Custom 3 towards the end of the month, which has some ridiculously fast sections. Earlier in the video I mentioned Bender GH was entering his plate arc, and with November he has fully made the transition into plate mode. Beginning with a tech of Infinite Ammo Overcharge at 105, then very quickly FCing Zoe patterns not long after. He then kicked it up a notch, FCing Supernova Ruptus and Madness March Kamikaze 2 within a day of each other. Absolutely mind-blowing work, dude. Now we have a name that is new to PIM, but definitely not new to the scene. Demand2413 has been making his way through a ton of GH3 speed-ups on Clone Hero, dropping a new speed-up every couple days over the past few months. Obviously, we can't list every single one, but some insane ones have been Barracuda at 175% speed, Miss Murder at 200, Paint It Black at 200, and When We Were Young at 300. Very keen to see how fast he goes with some of the harder songs in the set list. For another name we haven't featured in this part of PIM before, although he has been in other parts, Real Savage Alf came out of nowhere and took down 2 un-FC'd Allstrom songs. Heroes of Our Time and Revolution Death Squad, both GH3 DLC songs that have never been FC'd on Allstroms until now, leaving only 3 GH3 songs yet to be FC'd on Allstroms. Next up we have Lizard GH, who had another pretty insane month. He kicked off with a Tech FC of In a Night Where Her Sorrow Resounds, before going on to Tech FC Microphones in 2020, a monstrous 45-minute chart with a ton of stamina required even for a Tech FC. Still not done though, he then teched Black Widow of Laporte at 135, and also dropped a Minitage, both of these showcasing his ridiculous speed. Blonded is back again with a few cool FCs. He started with an FC of Mother, before going on to FC both Floyd the Barber and Flim right at the end of the month. Another name starting with B with a couple cool FCs this month was Bingus, also getting most of theirs right at the end of the month. They FC'd Liara, before FCing How to Fuck at 110 only a couple days later. They also dropped Bingutage 5, a 20-minute montage with some low-key insane clips that is definitely worth the watch. Next up we have Dreamer, who ended up FCing Cataclysm after their Tech FC last month, as well as getting a 4-part Tech FC of APN, both of which are classic Matthias songs. Amber had an insane run this month, and while only having 2 accomplishments to her name, they were both ridiculous. She got the first ever Hypnovia Tech FC, done with minimal tacoing as well, which is insane, before getting her first ever FC above grade 15 with her own rechart of Lost. Dan also had a pretty crazy run for the month, finally getting closer underchart after a long grind, and then getting Deceiving Paradise in the same day. He then FC'd Karma by Sucky only a couple days later. But before we move on to our quickfire section, we can't not mention what is possibly the single greatest accomplishment that has ever been done. Towards the end of the month, after multiple weeks of grinding, Asai FC'd Penga. Now, ordinarily, this wouldn't be a super insane accomplishment, but he FC'd it on the Yarg default engine, meaning that it had to be done without a single ghost input. The fact that this has been done at all shows how insane he is as a player and officially cements him as the cleanest to ever do it. Congrats again, Asai. And now for our rapid fire round. Starting off with Ryansba, who FC'd 9 Patterns of Eternal Pain, being the first to do it without Chad raking and only 2nd overall. Lean dropped 10 FCs in one video, with some insanity like Monster 125 and El Zoido 125 to name a couple. Definitely go watch the full thing. Gently returned from an almost 2-year break and got straight back to his Dragon Force discography grind with an FC of Revelations. Batata FC'd the medium chart of Sucky's Sounds Like Swings 2, which even on medium is still a pretty tricky FC. Dimlix FC'd Void's Birthday Hell on his birthday, something I mentioned wanting to see more of from like over a year ago now I brought it up. Elusive teched Hello World VGH, which includes the notorious section Oh No. Just Josh and FC Prevail at 115% speed, which besides being a new speed record is fucking insane FC, and one done after a very long grind too. Zappy FC'd Lemon Reaper's Hell at 200% speed, which is somehow 3rd ever. Rakshi Boy got another blindfolded FC with Dragonland's Flight from Destruction with only 3 ghosts as well. Ornej got the first ever FC of Gladiator, a new chart from the Willy Pack. Jarido teched Supernova Solo at 125% speed, which was done relatively cleanly as well. Batata also FC'd the hard chart of Losing It, another one that is still rough as hell even on a lower difficulty. Nados got a first ever Carpal Tunnel Hero 3 FC, getting Mathsma Attack. And Monk has closed off the month with an FC of Heads Will Roll JVH-C remix. Now with all of those out of the way, we can move straight along into the full albums for November. And once again, thank you to Gio for compiling all the research for this segment. We start off with XD Haquin with a couple for the month, beginning with an FC of Brand New Eyes by Paramore, done at 115% speed as well. This kicks the speed up on the hardest section to almost 20 note per second strumming, and at this speed the album is 40 minutes of focus. He had an even bigger one this month though, FCing Fall Out Boy's American Beauty American Psycho, on all strums and note shuffle. This is likely the first ever full album done on note shuffle, and is about as note dense as the last album he did, with 8,500 notes packed into its 39-minute runtime. Next up we have Java, who FC'd Demo EP by Chong. This is now the 10th FC of this chart, making it one of the very few long charts with a double-digit number of FCs. This 21-minute long album contains a lot of technical riffing, as well as some tricky chording and soloing to keep you on your feet. Now we have Darkbloom, who sight read FC'd Frostbit's self-titled. This album is a super genty one, containing everything you'd imagine from an album of that nature across 37.5 minutes. Mainly a focus check, but it does require a good amount of strum control due to all the irregular rhythms. And coming back from an almost year-long hiatus is Lilith, who took down An Everything in Between by Unprocessed, one of my favourite albums from last year. This was the first ever, and at the time left only one chart NFC from Zancharted 4. My favourite song off the album, Die on the Cross of the Martyr, is a perfect showcase of what makes this album so hard, with a ton of tricky tapping and some shreddy guest solos from the Polyphia guitarist to top off a brutal 11,000 note slog of an album. And my main man, Geo, closes us off with 4 for the month, starting with Fracture by Bleed From Within. This is the first documented FC, and has constant technical riffing and tricky chording across its 42-minute runtime. This also leaves only one album chart un-FC'd from the Charts 2-pack. The next one he got was Fables of the Sleepless Empire by Unexpect, another first documented. This album has 15,500 notes in 56 minutes, and is littered with BPM jumps and difficult chording, as well as a few jump scare sections ready to throw you off. After that, he FC'd Ashen by Humanity's Last Breath, an album I love and one I was there for the stream he FC'd it in. This 47-minute long album has 13,000 notes and is a very genty album, being very easy to overstrum and shit miss on. This one also happened to be the last album needed to fully FC Zancharted 4. And lastly, he FC'd Vector/Virus by Haken, a double album chart that goes for over 90 minutes. This is a classic progressive metal chart with tons of tricky strumming and soloing, but the real killer is the consistency required to keep up a combo for 90 minutes, especially with the hardest song being right near the end. And that does me for this video for real this time. All my normal stuff has already been said 15 minutes ago, so thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video.
Hey everyone, Party Boy here, back again from eating all of my Halloween candy to bring you the good Thanksgiving eats of the console accomplishments for November. Starting off with Sleeper Wave, who's back on his bullshit shenanigans again. Starting off hitting hard with a full library FC of both guitar and bass on Rock Revolution. Last month he finished Power Gig. Now to round out another silly 5-fret game with Rock Revolution, I gotta ask once again, what can't Sleeper Wave do? To pair with that, he also FC'd You Can't Bring Me Down, as well as marking this as a first ever. This was a previously unreleased DLC song, and through the power of black magic, this along with a few other tracks was found on an old Xbox dev hard drive dump thingy. Try saying that 10 times fast. And to pair along with this wacky engine, the outro is insanely tricky. To round out their accomplishments for this month, and to give us a slap in the face, they also got a drums FC of Beast and the Harlot on Expert Plus. A chart we've covered many times, filled with a jam-packed solo and plenty of double bass and whatnot. This is just an insanely fucked month as usual, coming from Sleeper Wave. Like, come on. Next up for this month is Marbler with a single, but an accomplishment sent from hell and back, being an un-FC'd for over 15 years. That being Shockwave on Guitar Hero DS. Marking this is also a Guitar Hero DS Full Series FC. Like we covered last month, there was a breakthrough with the strumming, with the calibration quirk with the DS touchscreen, allowing strumming to be more feasible on the Guitar Hero DS games, yada yada yada. Along with this strumming though, this song packs a lot of tapping parts and just overall an insane chart, just done by an insane human, to say the least. So please make sure to go watch the accomplishment video and give him as much love as possible, because, I mean, come on. Like, over on to Mateus, who also got a single accomplishment this month, that being Force by Blue Fusion. Overall, this chart is pretty mellow, except for the solo in the middle that has some nice shreddy one-handy stuff. Then towards the end of the song, there's a jam-packed solo with lots of tapping that requires plenty of precision, along with strums that require some tricky timing towards the end of the solo. So, great work as usual. Moving on to GH Guy, who got quite the handful this month, so as usual, bit of a speed round. First off with Frankenstein and Decontrol, both on Guitar Hero 1, both nutty songs as stated plenty of times with Guitar Hero 1, needing to strum basically everything, and that packs plenty with both of their solos. Next with Institutionalized, throwing fast drumming and tapping at you, and Hangar 18 with its shreddy solos, and Beast and the Harlot with fast drumming, all on Guitar Hero 2. Lastly, they got Black Widow of Laporte on Warriors of Rock, a banger of a song that's also filled with plenty of solos all throughout the song. Now on to Mr. Bradmaster with a FC of Trogdor. As stated many times that we've covered the song, needing your console to be converted to PAL in order for the FC of the song. It still requires some tricky timing, but it's one gnarly FC. Great stuff. Taking a look at Super Zero, again getting another accomplishment this month. They also got an FC of I'm the One. Once again, as we've gone through many times of this accomplishment, but one of the most insane ones due to the infamous Solo 2A, so once again, it's very nice stuff. Still following the trend, JD Smitty got a single accomplishment as well. They got Bark at the Moon on Guitar Hero 1, and once again, Guitar Hero's 1 engine, gotta strum everything, and the solo is filled with plenty of it. So, as per usual, great accomplishment. Next up with Kira with a pair of Power Gig FCs. Getting head up high once again with these off-brand 5-fret games. Their engines are very quirky, and to pair with that solo in this song is no joke. This is also the 4th ever FC of this chart. Also getting Cult of Personality. While it's known for its Guitar Hero 3 chart, this Power Gig chart is no joke, especially due to the engine quirkiness. This is also the 3rd ever FC of this chart, so great stuff. But next with a FC of Existo Volgor on Warriors of Rock, a Strummy Nightmare custom that was ported into the game. So a normal FC of this song would be pretty nutty in its own regard, but with how tricky strumming can be on Warriors of Rock due to, it being Warriors of Rock, this compliment is very, very nutty. Last for this month for Kira is a FC of Trogdor on Hard. While on Hard, Trogdor isn't that extravagant, the strumming is basically just a copy and paste from Expert to Hard, so you still need to be on PAL for this nutty of accomplishment, so great stuff as usual. Continuing with the trend, Nukisa has a single accomplishment, a Pro Keys FC of Less Talk, More Rock. Per usual, Pro Keys is just so fascinating to watch, so as always, I'd recommend to actually watch the video, unlike some of you. I'm looking at you in the comments, just to see how nice this accomplishment is, so nice work. Over on to Blue Bro, who got quite another handful of accomplishments, so another decent speed round. First with Antibodies on Pro Keys. Again, Pro Keys is just so fascinating to watch, so again, I'm looking you in the comments. Make sure to please go check it out. Next, with an endless sporadic melody on Expert Plus, a 10-minute nightmare gauntlet with lots of tricky parts all throughout the songs, throughout the various songs, might that be. Then getting on and on, a modest drums FC that has some chokeable fills towards the middle and the end of the song. Also getting The Stranger on drums, a song forcing you to wait over a minute for the notes to actually start, then having a steady pace throughout, along with some fast parts scattered along the duration of the song. And lastly, a drums FC of Power Slave. Nothing too crazy until the end of the chart where it just throws everything at once. It's basically just a throw up of notes. So, insane accomplishments as usual. Rounding out towards the end of our accomplishments, the legend Chris Body got a trifecta of FCs this month. Starting with the first ever FC of You Can't Bring Me Down on drums. We covered the song a little bit ago, but this is on drums, and again, it's another silly song from Power Gig, so it's a brand new ball game, especially towards the end of the chart. Next, with Anything on drums, I mean, that's kind of silly, but no, this one's actually a really tricky one, as this chart is very, very buggy. To elaborate, as short as possible without being too confusing, there's a chart parsing error with how the kicks are handled, requiring the kicks to be hit in a very precise manner due to the conversion between Expert Plus and normal Expert, and it's just all quirkiness all throughout the song. Lastly, getting Bloodlines on Expert Plus 5 lane. This chart keeps a decent pace throughout the song, but towards the end there's a crazy blast beat section making up for the difficulty of this song. For our last accomplishments this month, it's our single team accomplishment from Team Aftermath, with a Expert Plus FC of Chemical Warfare. This marked the final Guitar Hero FC that they needed for the channel. This song is crazy throughout all the instruments, making it one hell of an ending for the channel. Though they will do Rock Band stuff still, but they're done for Guitar Hero. Great stuff as usual. That wraps up our accomplishments for November. This is Party Boy, off to crash another party.